Hey everyone, so here we go. This is our third video on the art of exploration, where we will discover how to ask a question and find the answer within ourselves. If you are just now joining me, I would love for you to go take a look at the previous posts in this group and the two previous videos. And also ask yourself, what is the big question on my mind today? So our art of exploration is to take us from asking a question through an inquiry process to receive an answer. So today we are going to talk about how do we stop ourselves from being in reaction, okay? Reaction. And before I share more on that, I want to share a story. So last night I was chatting with a client of mine, an old client, I should say, who has actually gone through the whole program, my whole program, all 3 levels. And he said to me, Meera, I really don't have a struggle. Life is really good, and I seem to be manifesting whatever I want, and I just don't have a struggle. My only question, if anything, is when I get home tonight, when will I have a chance to play my guitar? Well, that's a good struggle to have. That's a good question to have. But I said to him, go ahead and pose that question, because this art of inquiry, this art of exploration will still lead you to an answer. So even if you think that your question is very, very meaningless or very trivial, go ahead and ask that question anyway. So how do we stop ourselves from being in reaction? So have you ever noticed that there is an internal dialogue that goes on inside your head? A lot of thoughts. Research shows that the average human being has something like 70,000 thoughts a day. Now that's a lot of thinking. That's a lot of thinking that happens 24/7. And this internal dialogue seems to be with us all the time, even when we don't want it. Now, the thoughts can be negative and the thoughts can be positive. Positive thoughts often lead to positive emotions and reactions or responses. And our negative thoughts usually lead to negative emotions and negative responses or reactions. And so there are many, many teachers out there who will teach you to try to change your thoughts or try to control your thoughts, mask them up, cover them up, something of that sort. I don't do that. Within energy-based psychotherapy, we ask a very important question. We ask the question, where are these negative thoughts coming from? There's a place where the negative thoughts are coming from. And so we trace it back to core beliefs. Oftentimes, a single core belief will have many thoughts attached to it. And so we can trace those negative thoughts back to a core belief. And then sometimes we can even trace it further back to a theme or a schema. By asking this question and identifying the core beliefs and the schemas that we have or the themes that we are running, we're able to know where we need to focus the energy and what we need to transform. And that's the work you do with me when you work with me one-on-one. We go in and we transform core beliefs and we transform themes very quickly. And by doing that, we find that hundreds and hundreds of thought patterns fall away. Negative thought patterns that fall away. Nonetheless, if you are just starting out with me in this work, you may have many struggles that are going on in your life. And so it's still good to learn additional tools, which is what this is, to help you unravel and ask a question and then be able to follow an inquiry process to get to an answer. And perhaps in that process, you'll uncover the core beliefs around the struggle that need to be transformed. So the answer is very, very simple to this. It's to detach from our core beliefs so we can create that mindful space, that it detach from those negative thoughts so we can create a mindful space within ourselves. So we talked about how there is an internal dialogue, and I don't think that the internal dialogue is the problem. In many ways, our thoughts, there's a reason that our thoughts are there. I see those negative thoughts as an opportunity to point me in the right direction, to point me, to show me what it is that I still need to heal. The problem is that we engage with this internal dialogue that we have. So we listen to it intently, and we're somehow often waiting for that insight to come through that's somehow miraculously going to resolve all our problems. And of course, that insight never comes through. Here's the thing. When our internal dialogue is a set of negative thoughts, a lot of those thoughts are coming from our pain and suffering. They're coming from our wounded self. And that's the reason why they're there. And when we engage with our internal dialogue, we submit power to it. This is a really important point I want to make, because your internal dialogue is not you. It's just a part of you. It's not all of you. Okay? I find that when I teach this to students, they find this piece of information really, really useful in detaching from their internal dialogue. So your internal dialogue is a part of you. It's not all of you. So why is it that we give it so much power? Why is it that we engage with it all the time? And why is it that we submit so much power to it? If I was to use an analogy, I would say it's like your little pinky that is trying to guide you. And you listen to it wholeheartedly, as if it is going to give you those miraculous answers. And yet we know that our little pinky, our little finger, is only a part of us. It's not all of us. So think of your internal dialogue like your pinky. It's a part of you. It's not all of you. So why would you submit power to it, to let it guide you? When you understand this, you're able to kind of step back from your internal dialogue and say, yes, I acknowledge you. You're a part of me, but you're not all of me. And so in that moment, you take your power back and you're able to detach from your internal dialogue. We can also use additional tools to detach from our internal dialogue through those, to detach from those hundreds of thoughts that are constantly racing through our minds. The truth is, we cannot change situations, events, circumstances, even other people's reactions. But we have power over our own feelings and our thoughts. By detaching from our internal dialogue, we in essence create a space within ourselves where we can no longer be in reaction, and that is the mindful space that we create within ourselves. So with regards to your big question, I asked you to write a list of all the ways in which you are in reaction. And that means to write a list of all the ways you react to that struggle, that anxiety, the question that you have. And next to that list of reactions, I asked you to write a list of all the emotional triggers and the thought triggers that lead to those reactions. So if you haven't done that, do it. And whenever you catch yourself in those thoughts or emotions, detach from them with the understanding that they are just a part of you, they are not all of you. You can also use deep breathing exercises, rhythmic breath, to help you to detach from those thoughts and emotions. Sometimes I teach people, this is a very mindful exercise, you know, if you sit with your thoughts, or if you can watch your thoughts, as the thoughts come in, acknowledge them, but imagine setting them on a leaf and letting that leaf float away just like it would down a river. This helps us to come into that present moment, into a present moment awareness. And in the moment, of course, there are no problems, there are no struggles. And by coming into the moment, we have also detached from the struggle, from the anxiety, from the question that we have. So I'm going to give you guys a few days to practice this. Practice creating that mindful space within yourself before we go on to discuss the next step in the art of exploration. So join me. And by the way, I would love to know how you are doing so far, and how these exercises are working out for you, if they are easy or if they are hard, and what you might be struggling with in implementing, because this gives me good feedback, but it also helps me to help you. So please share with me. Thank you for being here, and I will see you guys in the next video.